I'd like to call to order the City of Belton Planning Commission for July 1st, 2025. Could we have the roll call, please?
Chairman McPherson.
Here.
Mayor Larkey. Councilmember Pryan.
Here.
Commissioner Christensen. Commissioner Crate. Commissioner McDonough. Commissioner Ruggles. Commissioner Shutt.
Here.
Commissioner Walton.
Here.
First item we have is a review of our minutes from the June 17 Planning Commission meeting. Should have received those ahead of time. Are there any corrections or additions that need to be made? Or is there a motion to accept those as we've received them?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to new business for this evening. We do have a public hearing, so we will go ahead and call that to order. And this is for VAC 25-002, a request from Autumn Ridge Homes LLC to approve a vacation of utility easement in Autumn Ridge 4th and 5th plats.
Yep, thank you, Chair. Before this evening is a request to vacate a utility easement in Autumn Ridge 4th and 5th plats, which is generally located on the north side of Solstice Court, going south to Sycamore Court, and then southeast on the south side of Sycamore between Fallen Leaf Drive and Summer Dawn Circle. This easement was dedicated to the city in August 2007 in advance of a future Autumn Ridge 3rd plat that would have accommodated the remaining 10 duplexes here to the north, which were intended to be platted in 2007, 2008, but ultimately due to the economy, those plans were pulled back. So these 10 duplex lots were not platted until 2024 as part of the Autumn Ridge 5th plat and are currently under construction. Staff was unaware of the easement until May when the applicant reached out and had discovered the easement, which was tied to some title work that was being done by a potential buyer for some of the single-family lots of which this easement runs through. So therefore, we don't have any information or details of the original intent of the easement, other than they must have been wanting to install something in here related to this future plat that was not done. So based on that, there are no known utilities within this easement, as it was unknown to anybody, and therefore the applicant is requesting to vacate that to allow the closing of the remaining single-family lots in the 5th plat. The easements, other utility easements were dedicated with the 4th and 5th plats for Autumn Ridge when those were platted in 2022 and 2024. And those easements are located in the appropriate locations, which are typically along the lot lines, versus this easement, which just kind of runs, it's not following any of the lot lines. Staff notified the utility companies that have potential interest in the easement, notifying them of the vacation request. We did not hear back from every utility company, but those that did not have any concerns. And again, we have no record or knowledge of any easements. And all those utility companies have been installing their easement installations elsewhere in the platted easements with the 4th and 5th plats. We did notify all the property owners that have property where these easements are located. Most of the lots are owned by the developer, which is the applicant. And there are 2 lots on Summer Dawn Circle, which have already been sold. We did send notification to those property owners as well. But again, since this is a removal of an easement and not an addition, this is generally going to be in their best benefit, so utility company doesn't eventually come in and dig up their backyard. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the easement so that the remaining lots in Autumn Ridge 5th plat can be sold. I will note that staff has already issued 9 new home permits in the 5th plat to D.R. Horton over the past several weeks, and there are remaining 38 single-family lots that are available for new home permits as soon as they move forward with that. Happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Yeah, just ask the applicant, anything additional that you would like to make us aware of?
No, sir.
Okay. Since this is a public hearing, we will ask if there's anyone that would like to speak in favor or in opposition to the vacation as planned. Ask again. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and move it to the commission. Any questions or comments from any of the commission members? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve vacation 25-002 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second and a half.
Sorry, did you do the public hearing?
We did the public
Okay.
hearing, and we closed it.
Just want to make sure.
What, are you sleeping down there?
We didn't hear anything from the public. Any last or final comments? Seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryan,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
Shutt,
Aye.
McDonough, Walton,
Aye.
Chairman McPherson,
Aye.
Ruggles.
Good. Moving on to our next item of business. It is DEV 25-003, request from Garcia Imports LLC to approve a final development plan for a remodel and expansion of a building, of an existing building at 404 East North Avenue for Cinco de Mayo, a 4,572 square foot restaurant and grocery store. And we'll ask the director to present before that.
Thank you, Chair. Before this evening is a request for a final development plan for approval for Cinco de Mayo to remodel and expand an existing building at 404 East North Avenue. This is the building that is located between the dentist's office at the corner of 58 and Y Highway, across from CVS, that's been vacant now for about a year, but previously had an orthodontist office occupy part of that for several decades. The existing 3,800 square foot building would be expanded by about 900 square feet on two different sections, which are shown here on the site plan at the northeast and northwest corners, to accommodate a grocery store and restaurant. The grocery store would operate out of the east half of the building, and the west half would be for the restaurant. This property is zoned C2 General Commercial, and the proposed improvements meet all UDC requirements. In addition to the new building additions, site improvements include the removal of substandard fencing along the parking area and along the west property line, which will open up the visibility and accessibility of the site. They will be repaving and restriping the parking lot, including ADA spaces and pedestrian crosswalks out to 58 Highway, and another crosswalk back to the accessory building at the rear of the property. And I apologize, I don't know why it's cut off here, but there is a building there on the north side. They will be adding a new vestibule at the front entrance to the grocery store, a new dumpster enclosure at the rear northwest corner of the parking lot, painting of the rear accessory building to match the existing building, and I mentioned the pedestrian access to it. This accessory building will be reused for supplies, which isn't permitted for new construction in commercial districts. However, since it's a pre-existing building, as part of the reuse of the site, staff believes that it is acceptable since it is a legal non-conforming building. Additionally, there will be cleaning up, as noted here on the west property line, brush and overgrowth, as well as the removal of any dead trees along there. And then they will be repairing and remodeling the existing monument sign that's located along the east property line, adjacent to the dentist office. The only item that was not addressed with the final development plan is exterior lighting. No exterior lighting was shown on the plans. However, adequate perimeter parking lot lighting does need to be provided since these uses will be open after dark. Wall-mounted lighting on the building will likely be sufficient to illuminate the parking lot since it's just kind of one row of parking on each side. Details will need to be provided with the building permit for review and approval. Overall, staff believes that this is a great reuse of this site, and it allows a local small business that's currently located on North Scott to expand to a larger space to help them continue to grow. Staff recommends approval of the final development plan with two conditions, and I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicants are here as well.
Ask the applicant anything additional that you would like for us to know.
didn't think you said that much.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. So the lighting is something that will be, very good. Okay. Anyone else from the commission have any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion,
Accept?
accept. Yeah,
That hard word.
accept the,
Approve.
approve the
That's the one you want?
thing.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right. Have a motion and second to approve DEV 25003. Any final comments? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
McDonough. Chairman McPherson,
Aye.
Ruggles. Walton,
Aye.
Shutt,
Aye.
Councilmember Pryan.
Aye.
Has been approved. I'm always for approving Cinco de Mayo or Mexican food, so yeah, that's always, so congratulations. Director, we have Unified Development Code update.
Yeah, I passed out a handout at everybody's seat with our engagement summary that includes kind of the schedule of events for the UDC update. Just to kind of let you know where we're at, we are in phase 2. So phase 1 was really just kind of convening, getting the meeting with the consultant, kind of getting the game plan put together and this schedule. And then they have met with the steering committee, which they met back on June 5th. And staff met with the project team last Friday for an update of where they're at. So they're currently in the process of moving into the diagnosis phase, which is phase 2. And that's essentially, we've given them all of they have access to the full Unified Development Code and any amendments that have recently been adopted or in the process of adoption, such as the residential driveway updates that will go to council next week. So they've received all that information and are reviewing all that to look at where there's issues or concerns in the overall code, and they'll start that process of then discussing of where there can be major changes that are going to be made. The presentation on the screen is what they shared, I'm just want to share a few slides from what they presented to the steering committee, kind of the overall process here. So again, the diagnosis phase, they're looking at our current conditions in the city and how it aligns with the code, and where, based on the kind of the context of various parts of our community, how that code isn't working or what is working that we should focus on keeping. Then they'll move on to the alignment phase, which is really the kind of the community engagement piece of that for the first round. This is looking at best practices of where they see our code needing to be improved. Again, the engagement, what they're looking at all the comprehensive plan feedback that was received, but also we have requested a booth at Fall Festival on September 13th. So we'll be out there with the consultants discussing the code update with the community and kind of what they would like to see. And then overall, the regulation framework, which one of the things that's currently in our UDC is it's not very well laid out. It's not user-friendly. Everything is in alphabetical order, which isn't typically recommended. And so this is an example of a recent update that they did in Springfield where it's laid out by topic. And so if you're looking for a specific issue, you know exactly where to go and look for that item. There will be a joint meeting with the Planning Commission and City Council. I'll send out an email this week about that, but tentatively we have that scheduled for Thursday, September 25th. So if you would please get that on your calendar and let me know if you do have any concerns with that, but that would be separate from a planning commission or council meeting, just because this would really try to get some additional feedback from the planning commission and council on their thoughts and a review of some of the community engagement that will have taken place by that time.
You say the 25th?
Yes, will you be back? And the time on that, I'll take a poll of that. We can do 6 PM, but if there's any interest in doing that a little bit earlier, that would also be fine with the consultants. But if that's not possible, it'll be at 6 PM because that's typically when both the planning commission and council have regular meetings anyway. And then once they take all that feedback, they'll go into the drafting stage. That will pretty much be later into the fall through the winter months. Probably won't hear a whole lot from the consultants, although there may be some very high-level items that they may want feedback on that we'll take to both planning commission and council for some discussion. There will be another joint meeting the end of February to talk about the draft. And then they'll go through, clean up the draft, and our goal is to have something before the planning commission for consideration in May. So that would be the public hearing in May, and then final adoption by council in June of next year. So here's kind of just a more graphical view of the timeline to kind of show what we're looking at. But overall, we're looking for a more user-friendly code, a lot more graphics, a lot more illustrations, tables, charts to kind of better illustrate what the intent of the code is. Right now, we have a lot of verbiage that you have to really read and think about to really understand what we're asking for. So we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible, not only for developers, but also residents who are just wanting to make improvements to their property. So that's really all I have. Again, they're working on the diagnosis. They shared last Friday that they would have kind of a report for us in the next few weeks. And then we will likely share some of that with the planning commission and council of kind of what they've looked at. There will also be some steering committee meetings that will follow later this month or into August to review that as well. So happy to answer any questions, but like with the comprehensive plan, we will keep this as kind of a standing item on the agenda, just so we're keeping everybody up to date of what we're working on there.
Questions for Director? I will say this past week, I was looking up something. I was having a conversation with someone and trying to find it, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm familiar. I've been looking at these for a long time, but it was a lot of fun trying to find the specific thing that I was looking for. So
Yeah.
I will definitely appreciate having this updated.
Yeah, we will too.
All right, anything additional, Director, for your Director's report?
Yes, we will have a meeting on Tuesday, July 15th. We have a couple of final development plans for you guys. The first one is remodel at Cedar Tree for the end cap where Reese and Nichols used to be, as well as part of the Salvation Army. That'll be for a Savers, which is kind of a secondhand store. They will have a donation drop-off, and that's the primary reason for bringing them forward, is they would like to add a donation drop-off area on the south side of their building facing 58 Highway. So we've been working with them on that addition, making sure that's appropriately screened. And so that'll be the main purpose for that development plan, to bring that forward to you guys. And then the second one is for a couple of building additions to the Church of Christ, which is located at 103 Myron. That is just to the west of North Scott and Myron. So those will be the two final development plans that we'll have for your review at our next meeting.
We have several projects that are progressing right along.
We have several projects that are in the works. A couple of those will likely have some neighborhood meetings before we bring those forward to Planning Commission. And so anytime we have those, we post those on our website, but we, in addition to notifying the residents within a certain distance, we will also let the planning commission know if you would like to attend those.
Also seen a lot of work where Olive Garden will be. That is progressing. The
They,
city put the picture from the Peanut.
yes,
And that's progressing. I saw the ice cream shop going in next to McAllister's.
yep, there are quite a bit of projects in the works.
Lot of things
and
happening.
Some more things coming.
Good. All right. Anything else we have?
Second.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?